so many anecdotal stories of doom and gloom about the whole construction industry and questionable quality. To have a 10-year structural defect insurance policy added to a given development adds absolute peace of mind.
So I'm here with Adam Sparks from McGrath Projects. Good to see you, mate.
You too, Mike. Thanks so much.
So LDI Resilience Insurance, what's your kind of take on the product? Obviously it's about protecting consumers, and how are you finding the response when buyers come walking into the display?
I think, look, it's a great initiative. It just gives an extra layer of comfort to the general consuming public. There's so many anecdotal stories of doom and gloom about the whole construction industry and questionable quality. To have a 10-year structural defect insurance policy added to a given development adds absolute peace of mind.
Yeah, and obviously you guys are working on the project at Grand Reve. How have you kind of found that sales process relative to a project perhaps doesn't have the LDI?
So Grand Reve Castle Hill, we're probably the first in the hills area to take on the LDI. And we've been absolutely sort of putting that in all our statements loudly and proudly, because it's a real point of difference. So you couple that with the builder's background. We've got Dasco with a 4.5 iCert star rating. And then Sam Cassis from Cassis Homes, who'd been building luxury homes in the hills area for over 30 years. So you've got a formidable force between those two, but then added to that, the out-of-pocket expense to purchase the LDI insurance policy for a 10-year period. And once it's explained and fully understood by the consumers, it is absolutely well received.
We did some research recently surveying buyers that use Urban and asked them how much more they would pay, and it was about 70% of people said they'd pay more than the 1.5% in terms of that price premium for that product. When it becomes less of a cost centre and can actually become a profit centre as well as the sales tool for the agents, I think it really kind of rounds out an awesome value proposition.
Yeah, agreed, totally.
And so when a developer comes to you now and asks you about what you think about it, what type of feedback do you have for them?
Well, we're absolutely encouraging that they explore the possibility of taking it on. And in doing so, they've got a link. If the developer and builder are one of the same, they've got to have the credentials to be able to have the LDI accepted by the given insurer, because there is a lot of hoops to jump through to being able to have that fully approved. And then there's checks and balances all the way through the construction phase between the off-the-plan initial sales program right through to completion. But we would absolutely encourage it because it makes a big point of difference, and as I said before, it just gives absolute consumer confidence.
And I guess it is kind of a more recent development within the development market. How are you finding buyers are now asking for it, or has that started to happen yet?
We're finding buyers are so well researched before they lift the phone or send an email to find out more about our given developments. They understand intimately exactly the whole landscape of what the comparable set is about and what we have on offer. So when we can add to the fact that we've got the LDI as an additional comfort factor, it just becomes a lot more of a qualified processing way of closing buyers.
One of the things I noticed with Grand Reve when we write articles about it and we refer to the resilience insurance product being there, we see higher conversion rates and more visitors come to it. And how early in the sales process does it typically come up? Is it something you'd lead with, or is it more of a closing tool?
We definitely lead with it. So all of our marketing, we initial the 10-year, we've actually got a big logo, like a wax seal on our marketing statements. It says 10-year structural defect insurance policy in place. So we're loudly and proudly sort of displaying that, and that is a point of difference. But again, it's designed to give the consumer absolute comfort in what they're buying into.
So any final thoughts for a developer that might be considering adopting the product?
I think whilst the difference between paying the percentage of the construction cost in a bond for 2 years compared to the out-of-pocket expense to purchase the LDI insurance policy, on the initial 2%, you may get some of that back assuming there's no defects after a 24-month period. But on the out-of-pocket expense, it just translates into absolute confidence in that developer. So I would absolutely encourage any developer considering whether to do one or the other to go down the LDI path.
Yeah, I think when you've got the consumer audiences saying loudly that they will like it, and then industry leaders like yourself also kind of endorsing it, I think that's how the market can move forward. So appreciate your time, taking the time to have a chat.
Yeah, great to see you. Thanks so much.